Welcome to Operation Freedom, the cable TV show sponsored by Freedom Museum, VFW Post 75 Manassas, and VVA, or Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 617. We have two guests today, Lester Lawver on my left, and on my right, Desi Arnaz. And we're all three are members of the VVA Chapter 617, and we're just going to focus on the VVA national, the local chapter, and everything. Lester, you've been the president, I say one commander, but we've got to switch to president of the chapter for the last 3 years. Would you tell us a few things you've done in the last 3 years? Because you're going to be replaced this evening after this 7 o'clock night at general membership meeting. Things you've done in the past 3 years?
Mostly, being very honest, the chapter, I've tried to raise money has been the biggest thing for them. And the chapter really is very sufficient and runs itself very well. And I've learned a lot from them. I mean, there's a lot of fellows there that's really more knowledgeable than I am, and I'm being upfront when I say that.
Now, you had some wonderful programs now. I'll give you talk about that. For instance, the Christmas package we do, the Christmas, the families
Right.
For the veterans we do this Christmas. Just mention that.
Right, for the Marines, but that was started before my time. But what it is we give turkeys, ham, all of the basic needs to make a meal to the families that are really need the help out there at the in Woodbridge there, where the Navy has their housing for the enlisted personnel there.
Right.
We go out and package it, and it's passed out to they come down and pick it up now. We used to deliver it to them.
Right. And how about your scholarships? We do scholarships?
Yes.
That's something else
We have
you've
the
kept
scholarship every year.
Your work has kept us very solvent, so we have the money necessary to reach out to the community and help the veterans and the. But mention scholarships because we're always looking for people to apply for the scholarships. It's coming up this May, I guess.
Right. The money we give them college money. That's right. We help out with. I mean, there's many programs that's going on. We help the county out with the raising money for the different events that go on there within the county. And there's other events that we do and we help out with. Right. I mean, if you can go down and list them if you want, but I was trying to get time.
Okay. We have a website. Would you so if the viewer can go look at our website, the website?
You know, honestly, I don't know the website numbers sitting here.
But it's okay. It's the VVA. You can go into Vietnam Veterans of America and you come up with different websites.
.org.
Huh?
.org.
.org. Yeah. .org.
I honestly don't know it myself.
Right. And if somebody's watching this program and want to join, is there a number they can call?
Yeah, the national. They can call my house. They can call any numbers within the group.
Okay.
And there's literature. I mean, and they can also get it off the website.
Get it off the website.
Right.
Okay. Because and the eligibility, it's interesting. We were just talking about, Desi, you just mentioned, give you credit here, mentioned asked a good question. What was the longest war? What was significant? Huh?
Longest war.
Longest war.
Sure.
And the time was 1956 to 1975. We can put on our hat here. Got, if in case you remember, like my memory is 1975. That's a long war. And our chapter, the national organization, whatever you want to be in, if you want to join, it's Vietnam era. You do not have to fight in Vietnam or Thailand, whatever it's being in service that time. So the veteran sitting at home watching us may not know that, but he can join. Maybe he served in Korea or someplace else.
As long as he was on active duty during that time.
Right. Okay. And tonight you're going to turn this over to Desi.
Right.
You're going to do something. Before I go over to Desi here, you're leaving to move out to Louisa County.
We've already moved, yes.
And you got a real good project out there. What's that project, please?
We're trying to start a chapter down there. We need 25 members. We're up to 15 right now. And the chapter, we're hoping, will be formed in February.
Okay.
And we have a lot of veterans down there that are very interested in forming a chapter in Louisa.
And you need a minimum of 25 to start?
Minimum of 25 to form it.
Okay. Good. coming over, Desi, you're going to be the new guy on the block. You're going to be you're vice president now. So
Yes, I
you're
am.
moving up because he's leaving, so you automatically step up. That's nice. I mean, he's not dying. He's just leaving to go to the area, and so I like that. That's a good thing. You're stepping up, and you've been in it a couple of years now. What's some of the things you've noticed about and some of the things we're doing?
Well, I'm sure glad that you asked me that question because I've got a lot of good answers. I'd like to start out a little bit with a fella who was in the organization, led it for quite a long time, whom I communicate with at least once a day. His name is George Corbett. And George was the president. And he did a very good job of bringing the veterans into the organization and setting the tone and the ground rules for the organization. And I have a feeling that perhaps some people really don't know about the organization. It's not like the VFW, and it's not like the American Legion. Our organization is dedicated towards more towards social programs of aiding veterans, whether they be World War I, World War II, Korean, Vietnam vets, and currently we're supporting as actively as we possibly can our veterans who are currently fighting the bad guys over in Afghanistan and Iraq. So George really brought this together and brought it to the forefront and made sure that I would say that all people knew and that this was our mission, this is our function. We don't have any, for lack of a better word, beer halls or anything like that. We're dedicated to what we do. And do you want to say something about that? Or?
Yeah, there's something that came to mind I'd like to add. One, I have had the opportunity and the good fortune to attend some Senate hearings about this, where the Vietnam vets were their full support of what backing Congress for support for the medical care for the guys coming back from Iraq, where they wanted to try to buy them out, and really pushing hard for medical care for them. And also add to it, the Vietnam vets are the ones that got the Korean monument over there in D.C. And there's one other thing, our motto, never leave another veteran behind. And the Vietnam vets will not promise you a beer hall. They also promise you will go home to your wife's silver at the end of the meeting.
That's a good one. Yeah, we don't have a post home, and where we meet down in the Independent Hill.
Yeah.
At a county building down there if anybody wants to attend meetings.
It's at the dog pond down there at the county landfill. You take a right at the stoplight and another immediate
shelter.
right.
Yeah.
Right into the
In
dog
the old
pond.
days, it was the dog pound.
Yeah, it still is.
But
the
very nice,
dog
nice
kennels or
facility
whatever
now,
you want to call it. Yes.
Matter of fact, go ahead. Excuse me.
Let me jump back to George. The good thing about George is, like Lester, he left us, went to Richmond, and is the secretary of the state chapter, and does some really good work for the chapter and for the state as well, and keeping everybody informed and letting everybody know what's happening and what's going on. So we feel that one president goes on to bigger and better things and greater things, and Lester was the same thing. I kind of knew he would do this to us because when he informed me that he's moving out of his house up there on 234, going down to Louisa, I said, well, it's only a matter of time till, he joins something somewhere or forms something and leaves our organization. But again, Lester has been very good at taking care of the social programs that we that we have in the organization, which is really our main function. It's to serve and to help veterans, because of our motto is we're not going to leave them behind again.
Yep.
Ever. So so that's been very helpful. But what happens as we move toward and sort of Vietnam veterans, like World War II veterans, start to fade away, and and that's the way things are.
There is something on that as we move to the future.
Mm-hmm.
The Rocky vets are forming their own group. Matter of fact, they're using our national headquarters, and
Right.
they will carry on. They're using a lot of our Constitution to form their own.
Good.
And they really have, the Vietnam vets have really, really reached out to them. Matter of fact, they're trying to form a mentoring group, and they're going to go through the loopholes at our next national meeting to where they can mentor to the Rocky vets to help them that's having problems. And I mean, I can't say enough for them. Out of all the groups heard of, I got to say one thing: the Vietnam vets have been the most active and the most forefront group out there. That's personal.
Well, I've watched the national, and they put out a great magazine, by the way, of all the veterans magazine. I personally think they put out it's tabloid style. I mean, there's not the hard cover and everything, but the quality of writing in there is just superb. My feeling is better than any of the other groups. They've got a good magazine, but not the best is the magazine. Would you say that's the same?
Yes, exactly. And as we move forward, the interesting thing to me has always been that while we have good membership, we don't have enough Vietnam vets involved. So I would really like to try to expand the membership, communicate to them more what we're about and what our focus and function is. And the second thing, I'd like to get more of them involved in the veterans parades and things like that,
Yes.
so that we can show up a little bit more and let the folks know, because as you know, we participate in the 4th of July parade and Veterans Day functions. And the public has been extremely receptive to that, to have us there. And I know I kind of conned Lester into walking along with me and shaking hands, which I think he's found very, very useful and very rewarding.
It is very rewarding.
This is last 4th of July, and this is the one, the other part of the...
Yes.
Where was it?
It was on the 4th of July.
Yeah, but I
City.
mean, it was in the Dumfries area or what?
Da&Ll City.
No,
Da&Ll
Da&Ll
City,
City.
excuse me,
Yeah,
Da&Ll
Da&Ll
City,
City
okay.
always has a big
I had to
parade
work.
on
That's
it.
the reason I went in there. Okay.
And so we would really like to see more veterans. I know that some of the Vietnam veterans are tied up with Thunder, Silent Thunder, not Thunder.
Silent Thunder.
No,
No. What
Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder, excuse me.
Rolling Thunder.
Right.
And that's what happens when you get old. You forget these things.
That's right. Rolling
Especially since
Thunder
I was
was,
involved in Rolling
that's
Thunder.
right.
That really hurts. So we really would like to see more veterans participate. They don't necessarily, well, I would like to have them all join
Right.
the VVA. Every veteran in Prince William and our surrounding area join the VVA. I really would like to see them come out more, and that's what I'm going to try to work on, is to support the Veterans Day parades and the Veterans Day functions. I know we have one member of the organization, a fellow by the name of Bob Pace, who I think everybody on the planet should know, because he's probably one of the most dedicated individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting. He is a veteran, a combat veteran, a fine person, and he's always been down at the Veterans Day participation, taking care of folks who are come to the wall and participate in that ceremony, as well as hand out material and answer questions. So, if we had more vets who would do that and be available to the general public to explain what's going on down there at the wall. The local chapters here in the Washington, D.C. area really have to take on that function. I know from time to time that we've had chapters come in from elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And I've participated in that, but it's mostly our chapters here that have to do that grunt work of being available to the general public and answer the questions that they may have about loved ones or somebody who served over there, or whatever kinds of questions they have. And this is especially true on veterans days that we have, that we could have as many chapter people. I'm hoping the Louisa crowd will take that up.
Right.
And,
They're not too far away.
They're not that far away. Come down there and position themselves and answer questions, and hopefully we can get more people to buy the shirts and identify themselves as Vietnam vets. I know in my own case I have my license plates are Vietnam vet license plates, which my wife drives. I don't know how that happened, but that's the way it is. But I have my trucks. I have my little banners on my trucks that indicate support for the troops, and those are the kinds of things that I want on is keeping the support for the troops, answering questions, and keeping veterans in the forefront of everybody's mind. That this is the reason everybody can do what they want to do is because of the veterans. So hopefully that will all happen, and we can, improve and build.
Right. Since you mentioned Bob Pace, it's interesting. We do a lot of work with Freedom Museum, and we had some World War II vets. About 30 people came in on a special trip,
Right.
and they wanted 4 or 5 of us down there. And Bob was down there. I was down there. 5 or 6 other guys, and we brought them in and took them through the Freedom Museum. Saw the photos, and they were very impressed with all the photos. We have a tremendous photo collection, much of it out of the National Archives, and they were fascinated with it and really appreciate. And they spent 3 hours with it, and we had some food, and we do a lot of that stuff, and that's through the year. That's on Fridays and Saturdays, and we got to keep doing that. Keep working with the vets and everything.
One thing I'd like to add, Desi hit on, really made me think about it. The Vietnam vets and vets have got to realize when Congress has a hearing and it's open to public, the more vets that can show up to these hearings and look at those congressmen and people up there in that board in the eyes, and they want to deny veterans' rights or veterans' health care or cut here or cut there, it's harder for them to look you in the eye and do that cut. And that's something veterans have got to really realize. It's very important. I can't express it enough. And Desi and myself happened to wind up at Garfield High School in a meeting, and the teacher had called and told me that they were very anti-military, these kids. When we left there, of course, I give all the credit to Desi, and I say this honestly. When we left there, every child signed up to go over to see him at Walter Reed. If you have the opportunity, anybody, to go to Walter Reed and talk to our troops and see the dedication in their eyes, the dedication of these men, it makes you so proud to stand next to them. And an honor, and I can't express it enough, what an honor to stand next to these men. And I will use the word then because they are young compared to me. But it's an honor that I can't express to anyone. Sure. And I wish we could have got those teenagers in there. I tried several ways, and it just wouldn't. I could never get anyone to let
into Walter Reed.
To Walter Reed, right? So
hey,
we denied it. Yeah, thing. But sure. There again, the Vietnam vets. I called National. They mailed a box to us that was huge. I had to wheel it into school on a hand dolly, and the school was a little reluctant to let this literature in, but it got in. The teacher called me almost in tears that the other teachers were begging for this material for their kids to see. And the high schools, I can't express it enough. They need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
They need to know what, not because I'm a vet, but what these men laid on the line. I mean, it goes back, clear back through all wars you can name. The guys that put their life out there so you could sit and do what you do.
By the way, just a little side note, the Smithsonian had a exhibit about the military history, and I'm trying to name, but it was in the American History Museum. And they just terminated in September because they shut American History Museum down for about 2 or 3 years. was excellent display. It took from before we were formed as a nation all the way up to today, and had a Jeep hanging up there. They had a helicopter from Vietnam hanging up there. The Jeep was World War II. The helicopter was an example of the Vietnam War and everything, and had quite a bit of stuff in there. I'm sorry it's not for more people can see it, but they may do it later. Had last thing is a Medal of Honor exhibit. And there was some speakers. You could press a button and the guy would be speaking to you, be one of the many Medal of Honor recipients and everything. But, okay, well, let's talk about the national level. We're talking about a lot of activity. One thing I'm impressed that you've gone to a national one, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They, what they do different from they do a lot of things different. One is the president serves for 4 years. And, when Vietnam Veterans America president speaks to Congress, they know the guy. You know, all other veterans organizations do 1 year.
Right.
Well, they get a 4 year to. Matter of fact, most of them I've known served 6 or 8 years, and
they're reelected. Yes.
They know who they are, and they're old friends, so to speak. They just they've got more cohesiveness. They're around long and everything. So I think that's really a smart thing they've done. But the nationally, we got about 50,000 Vietnam veterans are members of the organization, and they're in chapters all over the U.S.
Right.
One of the unique things about it is we don't usually have a building. We usually don't go into money have to support a building. That's something different. I guess there's some pluses about it and some negative things about it. You don't have a central place to meet all the time.
Well, they basically do have places. Most of them have government places.
Have good places to meet, but
right.
You don't have a home like
No,
we're also
don't.
members of VFW, and we have the home, but most of them don't have beer. The drinking is something. Mention why Vietnam War, why that's such a significant thing.
No drinking, no drugs.
Yeah, the
Right.
drugs when
They have drug abuse programs nationally.
Right.
They have I'm almost sure they have an alcohol program. Seems to me they do. I know the drug abuse program's real big.
right.
They have a lot of programs going. And Agent Orange program, matter of fact, we just got approved for Korean vets, Agent Orange. A lot of people didn't know they used Agent Orange in Korea.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found this out myself.
Okay.
And they've pushed and gotten that through. It's endless. The programs that they're going, like the Air Force had where they collected a lot of tissues from pilots and stuff, and I can't think of the name of the program right now. But all those tissues.
Ranch Hand? Are you talking about Ranch Hand?
No.
That was the Agent Orange.
Yeah, right.
They got all those tissues, and Vietnam vets is trying to keep this tissues. They have to keep them at a certain temperature. And they're trying to get a place where they can place them to keep them for future studies. I wish the name just doesn't come to me.
But it's a medical program, though.
Yes, it's a medical program for Agent Orange, the tissues of these people, and that. And they also, the program they're driving for is to bring back the remains of the other veterans. I don't have those figures in front of me. But it's every meeting they talk about the different wars, how many they brought back, remains and that. Even out of Vietnam, they're still bringing remains back of
Yeah, they brought some Air Force people
Exactly
World War II,
right.
and that was a month ago. It was in the news.
Right.
We talk about Agent Orange. Tell them about Agent Orange so the public know.
Well, Agent Orange was a spray that we used in Vietnam to defoliate.
Right.
And
herbicide.
Pardon?
Herbicide.
It's a herbicide, yeah.
Right.
And I got sprayed a couple of times with it.
Gee.
Well, I'm not the only one.
Oh, no, I just...
Everybody does as well.
Well,
when ranch hands come over,
yeah.
they don't really tell you that the ranch hands are coming over. They're just all of a sudden they're there and
Ranch hand
spraying.
study. Ranch hand studies are the name of it.
Yeah, ranch hand.
But let me tell you about another national program that's really... we are trying to foster it and support it with the VVA, and the general public really doesn't know this, but our Native Americans, by Native American I'm talking about what people call Indians.
Okay.
They're really, that's a name given to folks who were here supposedly before the European Americans got here. But Native Americans who are enlisted or join the military and they're on the reservations, you will not believe it, but they have absolutely no support whatsoever.
That's right.
Zero.
It's very
So if a Native American veteran, and of course all of them have been magnificent and have served magnificently, but once they go back to the reservation, it's just as if they moved into a different planet. Because they don't get any support from the VVA. You probably won't know that. That they get absolutely no
You mean
support.
from the VA or VVA?
VA. I'm sorry.
VA.
What did I say? VVA.
VA
I didn't mean
hospital.
VA. I meant VA. Veterans Administration.
Right.
They have no hospitals. They don't get any hospitalization whatsoever. In other words, if they want any support whatsoever, they have to come off the reservation to get that support. And who do they know?
Right.
And how do they know what to do?
And many of those places are isolated, so transportation's a problem too.
Exactly.
There's something on that I wanted to add to it. Carol Bell worked for she still does, Veterans Distortion. She is moving on to a reservation, and she's going. She didn't believe me when I was telling her what Desi had just said, because I lived on the Apache Indian Reservation. They have hospitals.
Arizona?
Yes.
Okay.
They have hospitals there for the Indians, for them to be
Bureau of
taken
Indian
care of.
Affairs.
But if it's military happen, they won't do it because they say the VA should do it. Well, most of the Indians, not picking on that word, but the Native Americans don't have enough money to get off the reservation, and those hospitals can be hundreds of miles away.
Right.
So he's caught. So she has been helping, and she's opened it up a lot. And when she looked into it, she came back to me, and she's also helped some. Like one guy needed a kidney transplant. He is now getting it due to her, because she called people in the VA to help him. And he is now on the top of the list for a kidney transplant, and she's been doing a lot with it, and will do a lot more.
Anyway, the thing that I wanted to focus on is the national programs that that we participate in as Vietnam vets, and that that really is our focus, is to bring the vets out into the forefront and to help and assist all veterans, let none of them behind.
Right.
So if we can do that, and if I do that, then I'll consider my term successful.
It's a big mission, and it's endless.
Big part?
It's a very big mission, but it's
big mission.
Yes, but
And,
but the Vietnam vets have come a long, long way with it,
Right.
and they've got a long way to go yet. But I am just proud to say I'm a member of them.
Right. It's a
And
great organization to be a member of.
It is.
And,
You got to remember, we were turned away by the VFW, the American Legion, when we came back,
right.
and that's what formed it, and it's been a powerful, powerful organization
Right.
ever since.
And many of us are members of VFW, American Legion today.
I am
Absolutely.
too. I'm a lifetime
Great
member.
organization. Life members.
Lifetime member.
Which keeps us busy. Well, it's been great talking to you all today, and thanks for the vision you offer to us. And I think it great. And Lester up there, he's got a vision for Louisiana County. They're going to like that. They've got cable TV. We were discussing that,
Yeah.
so be talking to them about a TV program up there. And I want to thank you all for being here together with us today. It was a very informative, and I hope the general public has a better feel of veterans issues and everything. And on behalf of Freedom Museum, Vietnam Vets America Post Chapter 617, and Manassas Post 7589, thank you for being today, and good night and goodbye wherever you are. This is Bradshaw, your host. Thank you.